We do have a liquid, let's call it a liquid, you can call it whatever, medication, whatever you want, antidote, uh, that would protect people because we know what kind of biological attack is coming. You know? So we already have the vaccine for it. So what did we do? Well, then another thing we've been doing is giving this antidote. Some people know, some people don't. Two people we know, for example, the 72s and their families, they already got it. Some at work, some at home, some at the park, some at McDonald's or wherever, or at a restaurant, because we have people everywhere. And so, you might be in the park or in a pub, discotheque, at work. Someone we know will go drop just a couple of drops of that antidote in your drink, and so everybody who's a 72 and their families, close families, mother, father, wife, some kids, are protected.
So it's my very great honor to give my testimonial. The way I met Dante is maybe a little different from you in the sense that I was not looking for anything. And anyway, Marcella would send me those videos, and at first, I watched a few, and it felt very dark to me. I felt there was some truth there, definitely, but it was too hard for me to watch them. So I watched a few, but then I didn't really click until I saw the 48 weeks with Dr. Stiel, and that hooked me in completely because I had always felt that I was close to Christ. I was not raised in a religious family. My father was very religious. He was a Lutheran, and his father, my grandfather, was a Lutheran priest in Finland. But my mother, my French mother, was an atheist, and we were absolutely raised with no religion whatsoever. But I always felt I had lived with Christ. I always felt, and when I first went to Jerusalem, I did not see the new city. I saw sand, I saw people dressed in white, I saw donkeys. I was in a totally parallel reality. And and that series really got me in. And then I became a little more careful about the videos. I started watching them, even though it was still very hard for me. I don't even have a TV. I haven't had a TV ever because I can't watch those movies. I just can't. I'm too sensitive. It's too difficult for me. But anyway, I had placed Dante on my list, on my email list, and I sent this Eclipse write-up, which some of you have received after some of my write-ups, since I put you on the list, but after. And to my great surprise, I got an email saying, "You forgot Greece, signed Dante." And I'm like, what? Uh, what did I forget and why? And Dante, like the Dante, like, oh my God, he's writing to me. So I immediately responded, and I never asked him what he meant by that sentence. Yeah, I never did. I don't know why. Anyway, I never did. And then he wrote, and then I told him that I knew who he was. Yeah, I didn't know at all who he was, but I thought I knew who he was. And that was about, I would say, probably 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. I know it was in September. It was an eclipse in September. Anyway, fast forward, then I became a 72, which was And I was so totally clueless. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea how I had gotten there and what was this about. I had not even watched all the videos. I had just a few, and by that time a lot had been erased already, so there weren't even that many to watch. I mean, there's still a lot, but not all of them. So I missed a lot. So I'm very grateful when you fill me in, because there's a lot of stuff I missed. And then finally, when I was on, I really became really committed to this journey. And what really also was the next step for me was when Dante told me he was going to come and visit me. I'm going to become emotional. Anyway, so he came to my house in France, and it was the worst time because I had been traveling non-stop. I was dealing with 200, 300, 400 people every day. I had not had one break. I had not slept for days. I mean, it was just horrendous. And then he wants to visit me. So anyway, they come to my house, and I see Dante at the door, and it was literally like seeing someone coming out of a picture book. It was incredible. And my first thought was that he looks exactly like his picture. We always have weird thoughts, right? And he was alone. He hugged me, and I was bubbling away because I was so nervous, and I always speak a lot when I'm nervous. And Anna and Philippe were not there. He had parked them a little further away, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to meet Anna, and I was so nervous. And comes out of the car, Anna, with her hair all over, makeup running on her cheeks, and totally apologetic, and telling me she has a terrible migraine because the night before she had drank. She had after a concert, and she never drinks. And she just wanted to go to bed immediately. So she did, but for me the ice was broken, and I thought, oh, she's just wonderful, and they're both wonderful, and it's so nice. And I immediately got along with Philippe. Actually, we're a little dangerous together because we had so much fun, and Dante was like, kids, stop talking and laughing so much because I can't hear myself think. And we went, and of course there was nothing to eat at home, so I had reserved a little, in a little restaurant in the village near where I live, and we went to eat there. We walked by the ocean, the two of us, because Anna wanted to go to bed, and we just ate, and of course I had ton of questions, and then he really said that he wanted me to speak. He didn't really want to speak himself. He wanted, because he had said enough on his videos, he wanted me to speak. He wanted to hear me. So I don't really remember what I was talking about. I was just so excited. So anyway, one day I thought they were just going to stay for an hour or 2 hours, and one day became a second day, became a third day. So they ended up staying 3 days, and every day he told me, I will tell you tomorrow, I will tell you tomorrow. And then they left, and I never found out. But we had a wonderful time, and it was just a wonderful 3 days, and I felt so sad when they left. I felt so alone.
Start again.
Okay. go.
Bravo.
And before he left, Dante told me that he was going to meet with me soon again because he had things to tell me. And sure enough, it was 3 months later, after I returned from India and Nepal, I got an email from Dante saying, it may be a little much to ask, but would you be able to come to Berlin and I will answer all your questions? And I'm like, all my questions? So of course I cancelled everything. I went immediately and I stayed 4 days there. He had told me I could, I asked him when should I go and for how long, and he said whatever you want right now, whatever you want. So I went there for 4 days. I didn't have more anyway because I had to go back to the US. I was in between 3 continents and 3 countries, so it was a little intense. And I had the most wonderful time with them, and everything he says is true. He doesn't sleep more than 2 hours a night, and I know that for a fact because I have a little studio in my place in France, and unknown to him, there's a little alarm, so when somebody opens the door or closes the door, I know it. I hear the bell. He doesn't know that, but I'll tell you now. Now he knows. And I know that from pretty much 1:30, 2 a.m. till sometimes 6 or 7 in the morning, he was gone. And then he was with us the whole day, so he wasn't like, sleeping during the day. He was totally with Anna and Dante, and Dante was with Anna and Philippe with us the whole day. So those 4 days in Berlin were amazing. I had brought in everything to do my ceremony because I wanted to do it with them. So when he saw me arriving, because it takes a lot of stuff for my ceremony, so when he saw me arriving with 2 suitcases, he's like, are you planning on moving in? And I said, no, but I took stuff for my ceremony. And then I felt a little, self-conscious to be doing a ceremony for him. So if anybody a few years ago had told me that I would be doing a video talking about an angel I had met in physical form, I had lived in the same house with, I would have said, nice imagination. And yet, here I am, talking about an angel whom I know is an angel, having lived under the same roof, and a being who is in physical form and has absolutely changed my life in every possible way. And I'm not going to talk about the videos, even though the videos have taught me things I didn't even know existed, have made me aware of realities I had never heard about, some of which were very scary, some of which were very enlightening, some of which are very heartwarming, and all of which really are opening my mind, and I know the minds also of many, many others, in starting to discern what is real and what is not. And in the beginning, at first I was wondering what the hell this was all about. Then I really started believing. And then when I met Dante in person, when he came to my house, and it was supposed to be just 1 day, that turned into 2 days, that turned into 3 days, I trusted him, and now I know he is exactly who he says he is. There's no pretense, there is no dishonesty, there is no game. There is just pure love, pure truth, and pure power. And I feel extremely honored to be in his life, that he is in mine, that I work alongside with him. And this is a path I can never turn away from, ever, because I would never be able to live with myself again if I did, and I won't. So when Anna and Dante left my house after those 3 days, I was expecting him to talk a lot during those 3 days. I was expecting to listen to him. And he didn't talk very much. He listened to me. But we did normal things. We went out for dinner. We went out to lunch. We walked by the beach. We hung out in my house. And I played games with Philippe, and we made so much ruckus and noise and laughed so hard that Dante couldn't hear himself. He's like, "Quiet, children." I can't hear myself talk. He didn't talk, think. And when they left, I felt very, very sad. But he said to me, "We will meet again." And a few months went by, and one day I received an email telling, "Can you come to Berlin to meet with us?" And I said, "Whoa, yes." And he said, "I will going to answer all your questions." I'm like, "All my questions? How much time do you have?" So I did go to Berlin, and again I met them in their apartment, Anna and Philippe and Dante, and he kept postponing every day. He kept postponing what he had to say to me. He kept postponing. And then one night, he invited Anna and I to come to dinner. And we were alone in that restaurant. There was absolutely no one there. And for the first time, he spoke to me for 6 hours straight. And I cried, and I cried, and I laughed, and I was grateful. And he told me things I did not know about my life. He told me things that I had never told anyone that he knew. I had never told anyone that he knew. I had never told anyone that he knew. And that night, after he had talked for 6 hours, and he confirmed that he had removed the man I was married very briefly to, like super briefly. It was briefer than the Kardashian wedding, and why he had done this. And I was most grateful for what he did, even though at the moment I did suspect he had a hand in this, but I did not fully understand why. And he took Anna and I to a nightclub, of all places. I never go to nightclubs. I've never been to nightclubs. I don't even drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. And he started bringing me one drink after another. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be so drunk at the end of the night. And I wasn't. And he started bringing me one drink after another. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be so drunk at the end of the night. And I wasn't.
And so, you might be in the park or in a pub, discotheque, at work. Someone we know will go drop just a couple of drops of that antidote in your drink.
And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be so drunk at the end of the night. And I wasn't.
We'll go drop just a couple of drops of that antidote in your drink.
And I wasn't. And I know now that he was healing my body, healing my mind. And I didn't think I needed healing. But my body changed after that. Things changed in myself after that. And I know he was putting something in those drinks.
We'll go drop just a couple of drops of that antidote in your drink.
And I didn't think I needed healing. But my body changed after that. Things changed in myself after that. And I know he was putting something in those drinks. But it was not, I thought it was alcohol, but I guess it wasn't. At least, if it was, I didn't get drunk. So I guess it wasn't, because I would, considering I don't drink, I would get drunk pretty fast. But I did not.
We'll go drop just a couple of drops of that antidote in your drink.
And then was time to leave again. And he told me we would meet again. And we did. We met in Ukraine, in Odessa. And again, they came to get me at the airport. It was so nice of them. And I stayed in their house, and I slept in their house. And I know for a fact that Dante doesn't sleep more than 2 hours, because I could hear him going to bed, and I could hear him leaving the house and returning many hours later and having a seemingly normal life with Anna and with me as a guest. And I didn't even feel I was a guest. They made me feel very welcome, and I felt they were my family. I really felt they are my family. And all my family died, and my true family came. My biological family died, but my true family came.